Hey, welcome back to Art Discourse.
We're so happy to have you.
This is a variety show where we just do one thing, and it's answer questions from this mystery machine.
Let's be varied.
The only variety you'll find is the difference in our answers.
But even then, sometimes not so much.
This week's question is, what are the best 3 pieces of advice you can give to an emerging artist?
Best 3. Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's me again, I'm calling from a faraway land. Pick up the phone, I'm calling from a different time zone. Heard you are a pretty good source for major topics in art discourse. I'll leave my questions as a message at the dial tone.
We're gonna maybe do this as like a collective 3.
Best 3. 3 pieces.
So we're gonna think about 3 things that we...
Are you going to think about 3 and then I also think about 3?
We'll think about 3 things collectively.
Oh, okay.
I'll think about 1, you can think about 2 if that satisfies me. The first piece of advice I'd like to give is, as an artist, if you're arriving to the field from university or from a college program or from just the workplace or wherever, I really think that the biggest piece of advice I can give is try to find financial stability. What made it for Chrissy and I coming out of university was that we purchased a house. And so we built Sparkbox on that property, and that meant that our monthly overhead was really reduced. And the reality is, as an artist, we don't really make very much money, and if you don't make a lot of money, you can't live a lavish lifestyle, and so you have to reduce the amount that you spend in order to match your income. The key thing is reducing your monthly overhead expenses. So by not renting and owning a house, you reduce that overhead. There are other bills and other things that come with it, but with a house later in life, you can leverage that, and that's an opportunity for you to like refinance your house in like 10 years to put money towards something. And I think that as an investment, the earlier that you can do that, the sooner you can use that opportunity to make a larger jump when you need a financial like sum of money. And mortgages and owning a house is one of those strategies that we took to reduce our monthly overhead. And it was incredibly effective. I remember going to ArtCo, the Artist Run Conference, something organization, link. This organization ran a conference like every other year, and we attended one in Ottawa before we started, where artist-run centers and galleries and organizations from across Canada were talking about various issues that were like kind of facing them. And one whole day was almost dedicated to just finances and just like the struggles that people are finding, and like be it a gallery or be it whatever. And the story that seemed to kind of weave between all of them was the individuals and organizations that owned the spaces were doing much better than the ones that weren't.
The fact that renting is precarious. You saw that with 401 Richmond. All of a sudden the taxes changed, and it was like everybody was potentially going to get kicked out because the expenses can be overwhelming. But I think the reality is that purchasing a property is just not realistic for a lot of people, and that doesn't mean that you can't be financially stable. It is like an option. Having an understanding of what you need to live and what you draw monetarily from what you create, knowing those 2 variables as early as possible is an asset. I think that that's a good piece of advice. I think that like...
Let me correct that. The path to financial stability is not, it does not be all and end all with purchasing a house.
It's not hinged on that.
I'm sorry if that was what I implied. That is not that is not true. It is just how we managed to go about Sparkbox.
Yeah. Not being scared of money, not being scared of asking to be paid for your work. Those are very important skills to know as a young artist. The top things for me, and that I still am constantly advising myself on, is just freaking make something. Like, just make stuff. If you like want to get better, if you want to show regularly, if you want to have a big following online, if you want to participate in events, like if you just want to be out there in the world, showing your creations off, then you have to be making them. And that I think that like I was joking with someone recently about, because I've been looking at all of these different like self-help creative guides, A lot of them are just like, 400 pages basically saying like, get over yourself and get into the studio. Like, stop making excuses. Stop saying like, I don't have enough time. Because if you really looked at how you use your time, there's probably some time in there that you can squeeze into being in the studio. Stop saying you don't have enough money, because probably you could figure out how to make something with what you actually do have. Yeah. Don't say this, just basically stop making excuses and actually just do it. And I feel like I'm still teaching myself, training myself to get better at that.
That one's hard. Making things on a regular basis is very difficult, as many of you will know. Are there some strategies that seem to work for you to get into the studio?
Well, I think we have an episode where we sort of talk about that, so we can link that below. I think like recently I have like kind of like a bit of a drill sergeant in my head who like is just yelling a lot.
A good way to make sure that you're making things is creating deadlines for yourself by, agreeing to do things for other people.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Apply for things. Yeah. Then when you get them, you will need to make the things that you applied to make.
Our third piece of advice.
Mine would be like participate in the community.
Oh, I was going to say something about community. Engagement and networking.
Yeah.
But I don't really know exactly what I would say. I'd just be like, be a nice person. Don't be a jerk.
Maybe like list out some things that you'd be excited to see, or like if you live in a city, this could be like something you can do on a more regular basis. Look at what's going on in your area, or even if you have a car or have the ability to like be on a train or bus and go somewhere else. Look at what's going on around you and pick whatever feels like a comfortable number. Like if it's like once a year you're gonna do something kind of big, or once a month, like don't make it unrealistic. Like don't be like every weekend, because I don't know, I feel like when I give myself goals that are obviously unachievable, then I end up getting disappointed and I'm less likely to try to meet that goal again. Get a few activities that are like seem really exciting. Maybe like a local museum has an exhibition coming by an artist you like would love to see the work of. Set a little bit of money aside so that you can turn that into like a little art date that you take yourself on. Yeah, like go to openings, go to the theater, just participate in the other creativity that's going on around you, and challenge yourself to talk to some people that are there. Or even, you can even do it online. You can even participate in an online thing.
Building a community, I think, is an incredibly important thing to start doing early on. And there are like any ways of like going about this. I think a lot of it comes down to like that stupid saying, it's not like what you know, it's who you know. And in a lot of ways, a lot of opportunities are based upon just putting yourself out there. And the more times that you put yourself out there, the greater chances that that's going to occur and you're going to have an opportunity. Mm-hmm. Community building is a great way to make opportunities. Like authentic opportunities, not like the ones that you're just doing because you're being self-serving.
Understand money, commit to your practice, participate in your creative community.
That's our advice. Our 3 hot advices for young artists. Get on that. Catch you all next time.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, could you do 2 things for me? Could you like it? And could you subscribe to our channel? Both of these things help us out tremendously. A big shout out to all of our patrons. Your continued support is amazing, and we really appreciate the encouragement to continue making these videos. If you want to become a patron, you can see the link below in the description.